If you are preparing for the IELTS exam, the listening test may seem challenging at first. Many students struggle because the audio is played only once. The speakers have different accents, and the answers often come very quickly. However, the good news is that IELTS listening is actually one of the easiest sections to improve if you understand the structure of the test and use the right strategies. So in today's video, we're going to fully understand the structure of the IELTS listening test and learn practical tips that can help you achieve a Band 7, 8, or even Band 9. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to expect in the exam and how to approach each section with confidence. Let's get started. First, let's talk about the overall structure of the IELTS listening test. The test lasts approximately 30 minutes, and you will answer 40 questions divided into 4 sections. The difficulty increases gradually from Section 1 to Section 4, so the beginning is usually easier while the final section is more academic and challenging. In both the academic and general training IELTS exams, the listening test is exactly the same. You will hear a variety of English accents, including British, Australian, American, and Canadian accents, so it's important to practice listening to different types of English before the exam. Now let's look at each section in detail. Section 1 is usually a conversation between two people in an everyday social situation. For example, you might hear someone booking a hotel room, asking for information at a travel agency, or registering for a course. This section is considered the easiest because the vocabulary is simple and the conversation is slow and clear. Most of the questions in Section 1 involve forms, names, phone numbers, addresses, dates, or prices. One important tip here is to pay very close attention to spelling. Even if your answer is logically correct, a spelling mistake can still cause you to lose marks. Another important thing to remember is that speakers often correct themselves. For example, someone may first say, "The class starts on Thursday," and then immediately change it to, "Sorry, I mean Friday." In this situation, the correct answer is Friday, not Thursday. This is a very common IELTS listening trap. Moving on to Section 2. This section is usually a monologue, meaning only one person is speaking. The topic is still related to everyday situations, such as a tour guide explaining a museum, a manager describing workplace rules, or someone introducing a public event. Compared to Section 1, the vocabulary becomes slightly more difficult and the speech is usually faster. In this section, you may encounter maps, diagrams, or multiple choice questions. When dealing with maps, it's extremely important to follow directions carefully. Pay attention to words like opposite, next to, on the left, or in the corner. Now let's talk about Section 3, which many students find more difficult. This section usually contains a discussion between 2, 3, or 4 people in an academic context. For example, university students may be discussing a project with their professor. The biggest challenge in Section 3 is that multiple people are speaking, so you need to identify who is saying what. The speakers may agree, disagree, interrupt each other, or change their opinions during the discussion. This section often includes multiple choice questions, and many wrong answers are intentionally mentioned to confuse you. A speaker might mention one idea and later reject it in favor of another. That's why you must keep listening carefully until the conversation moves clearly to the next question. And finally, we have Section 4, the most difficult part of the IELTS listening test. This section is usually a university lecture or academic presentation given by one speaker. The topic could be related to science, history, psychology, the environment, or education. Unlike the earlier sections, there are no pauses in the middle to help you. The speaker talks continuously, often using advanced academic vocabulary and complex ideas. Many students lose concentration here, so strong focus is extremely important. The best strategy for Section 4 is prediction. Before the recording starts, quickly read the questions and predict what kind of information is missing. For example, if the sentence says the research was conducted in underscore, you can predict that the answer is probably a place or location. Prediction helps your brain listen more effectively. Now that you understand the structure of the test, let's discuss the most effective strategies to ace IELTS listening. The first strategy is to use the preparation time wisely. Before each section begins, you are given some time to read the questions. Don't waste this time. Underline keywords, predict possible answers, and identify the type of information you need, such as a number, date, noun, or adjective. The second strategy is to focus on synonyms and paraphrasing. In IELTS listening, the audio rarely uses exactly the same words as the questions. For example, the question may say cheap, but the speaker may say affordable or not expensive. This ability to recognize paraphrasing is essential for a high score. The third strategy is to keep moving forward. If you miss one answer, don't panic. Many students lose focus because they keep thinking about a previous question. Remember, the recording continues whether you are ready or not. If you miss something, simply move on and concentrate on the next question. The fourth strategy is to improve your spelling and grammar. In IELTS listening, grammar matters. If the question says write no more than 2 words, you must follow the instruction exactly. Incorrect spelling, singular and plural mistakes, or writing too many words can all cause you to lose marks. The fifth strategy is daily listening practice. Try listening to English every day through podcasts, YouTube videos, documentaries, news programs, or audiobooks. Exposure to different accents and speaking speeds will gradually improve your listening ability. And finally, the most important strategy is consistent practice with real IELTS materials. The more familiar you become with the question types and common traps, the more confident you will feel on exam day. Remember, IELTS listening is not about understanding every single word. It's about identifying key information, staying focused, and managing your attention throughout the test. So those were the key things you need to know to understand the structure of the IELTS listening test and how to ace it. With the right preparation, smart strategies, and regular practice, achieving a high listening score is absolutely possible. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below, sharing which section of IELTS listening you find the most difficult. Keep practicing consistently, stay confident with your preparation, and I'll see you in the next video.